That's Jonathan. Pretty amazing. Not bad. Sun is rising over the hill and shining on my face. So here we are. Anthony, we're at the coffee shop. Arr, raspberry. Not a Dutch one, unfortunately. Oh, yes. Amsterdam. Those were good days. Like I said before, I lived in Amsterdam. It was in the 70s. And New York wasn't the only place that was, I mean, that was a global, they call it a recession. Most people said it was a depression. But virtually everyone down in the, I forgot what they call that area, but over in the industrial worker area, was squatting. And when I landed, the airport, and I took the conveyance into town, I had, not like, I had the money, but, I didn't have a big suitcase, I had a little go bag. And, of course, I went into a coffee shop, I had coffee, and everyone was smoking away. And, and then I had a newspaper stand. They had a book stand, books and newspapers. And I actually had the Herald Tribune, in English. I read that. It's not interesting. Just like today, same old, same old. And then I had the main paper of Stockholm, and the main paper of Sweden. I'm looking at them, and they had a book of prose in English. I was reading them. It was just kind of, they had a lot of stuff on the wall that you could, read or take, or had instruments. Some people were playing them, and but like immediately, just walking in there made you feel comfortable. I wasn't smoking anything. A lot of people were smoking something, and I stayed there, I don't know, maybe half an hour. Got a little something to eat. And changed my money to kroners at the airport. And anyway, so people came over. And they said, "Are you an American?" I said, "No." They said, "What? What are you?" I said, "I'm a New Yorker." They were like, "Oh, I got it." And, it was, they sat and we talked and talked and one guy said to me, "Do you have any place to stay tonight?" I said, "No." He said, "Well, why don't you come back to my place?" No, he didn't say my place. He said our place. I said, "Oh, that's not very, very hospitable." Right? Well, we were walking back, and there's this nice store. And I said, "Oh, let me get something." So I went to go buy a bottle of wine, some cheese, some bread, and some sausage. You know, the sausage, bread, and cheese were expensive but affordable. But the bottle of wine, which was not the greatest bottle of wine, was like $50. I said, "What?" He said, "Yes, tobacco, alcohol, highly taxed. Food, somewhat subsidized." I said, "Oh, okay." I said, "Well, actually, we have free education and free healthcare. Because people who have money who buy these luxury items, they can afford that tax that pays for healthcare. And and pretty much no one was paying any tax because they had no money. The rich people, which there were a few, they were. They were paying about 30%, right? And on other things, they were paying like 80%. But overall, about 30%. That allowed the government to pay. Good morning. Ed, how you doing, buddy? About to make. Everyone's making coffee. I'm the only guy not having coffee because I tell John. John drinks coffee and it's like methamphetamine to him. Just go look at his show today, and he stopped drinking coffee. He drinks now. This product that has, it's an energy drink that has 20 grams per serving of caffeine. It's like 8 cups of coffee. He drinks about 10 of those. Now, when you start seeing him screaming at me for not doing anything except being his friend and trying to help him, you understand what it is. Not good. So, as long as he does that, he's not going nowhere. Hey, Lana. Raspberry. Spinach omelet. I offered both to John and okay, I'm fasting. Fasting is spiritual experience. Mm. And when you fast to offer that energy to the great maker. Well, the Muslims have Ramadan, Christians have Lent, the Jews have their own version. Pretty much everyone does. Right? It's not to lose weight. It is to get yourself connected. I told him he needs to eat breakfast with you. I know. No. I make it every day, and I have really good vegetable food there now. When he had this gigantic slab, it was like Fred Flintstone pork ribs, really big. And he had about 5 of them in there, roast them like a brick. And, took one out, put it under the hot water, kind of thawed it out, sliced it up a little bit, put it in the pot. And he said, "Oh, you killed the baby pig. Oh, you're a murderer." I said, "John, no, this was in your freezer, and you bought it. I'm just cooking it. I'm just cooking it because it's in your freezer, so I thought you might want it." And, logic does not hold fashion with John. Because you're so out of balance. You stay up here for 2.5 years all by yourself. Not healthy. So I'm here to try to get him, offer him anything, a way back. Right? He wants, the important thing is, my wife and my kids. Well, why aren't you with your wife and your kids? Oh, it's so hard to go to Texas. It's so hard to go on an airplane and get there and forth. Oh, it's so hard. Then I have to get from the airport to. I said, please. And I guess your kids aren't that important. Oh no, they're the most important. That and God and Jesus. And like I said, religion was set up as a scam to be a what you call it. Hey, buddy.
Hi.
How you doing?
Okay. I feel happy.
Good.
I don't need to feel bad.
Attaboy. That's the way to be. Yep. Anyway, so I put a nice long story on last night, and I would suggest I'm using the phone because it's actually easier, but I don't have a stand. If I had a stand, John has about 5 of them because he's the newest one, and I said, "John, come borrow one of those stands." I don't know where they are. I go upstairs and like, "Oh, here's one." I thought, "Oh, I need that," But he is a generous guy. Like I said, he's got this line down him, just like we do now. We are a dualistic society. That's what living in a sociopathic environment is. It tears you in half. Right? So it's a side that is sweet, nice, and angelic. And this side, it's Satan. Satan isn't a snake. Satan isn't. It is a power, but it is just the power of our ego, you know. So, and that was when we were given free will. We didn't do anything. We weren't like tethered. We were tethered. We have this golden thread that goes up to our Akashic record, but that's just like a phone line. You know, it's like a fiber optic to the server, which is our soul, which is our, you know. Well, that gives me a really good idea. Let us all find a comfortable spot. I'm only doing this for 15 minutes. So we can, instead of me telling you just another story, which I got a million of them, and you can go, you know, I have more than 1,200 shows. I do a show, I put it up, it stays there, right? I don't take it down. So I want you guys to sit in a comfortable place, breathe deep, breathe in the prana, breathe in this light, breathe in that light, you know. That's the prana light. That is the life force. That is what animates the mud puppet, right? See it clearly, right? And breathe in deep, fill your lungs with the prana. Connect yourself through your feet to Mother Earth, to the chi, and feel that twin flame of love's co-creation. Feel it, see it, be it, right? Be that light. Father Sky, Mother Earth, Holy Spirit, hear our prayer, and every day and every way, let us take the peace of the earth and make it stronger. Let us breathe in Father Sky's prana to enlighten every cell of our body, because what is disease? Disease is a lack of ease. You know, being in love's one co-creation is balance. And when you're balanced, I mean, my Uncle Leo smoked a carton of cigarettes a week for his whole life. Never coughed. You know, died at 89 of no disease, but just in his sleep. And, you know, he drank like a bottle of, whiskey a day, never drunk. He was the chief of police, never drunk, never had a buzz. He just liked the taste. And he was a Mohawk Indian, right? He looked like he came right off the nickel. And because everything that he ate, smoked, drank, involved himself, he was constantly in state, constantly connected to love's co-creation. He called it all our relations. And, everything, right? The entirety of the burning bush works in, and that's what he said. He said, there's no finish line to life. It's a work in progress. And as long as you can learn something, get involved. As long as you can help the innocent out of harm's way, get involved. And do no harm. Do no harm to thought, word, action, deed, outcome. And that's the problem with our sociopathic society right now. There are all of these bad thoughts. There's all these worries we're being forced to. How am I going to pay my bills? Oh, this is evil. You're terrible. You're not going to my church. Oh, you're that kind of religion. You're a woman. You're a man. No. These are all things that should kind of bring us together. Not tear us apart. So, there you are, sitting in a chair or lying down, but you're totally relaxed, your body's in a safe position, and you're just being illuminated by this light, right? Being illuminated by this light. And every day and every way you take the piece of love's co-creation, you make it stronger by doing your best Not being perfect, you can't be perfect, but you can't make an excuse by saying, "Oh, I'm just a sinner," and if I say enough prayers, I'll go to heaven. Going to heaven, we're in heaven. I mean, look at this place. This is heaven. But the more you ignore it, I mean, this whole hill when I lived here, um, I would walk. I have a path that goes all the way up the hill, top of the hill, along the ridge up there, and then down, and it goes across 5 to 10 really sacred spots, and there's a gigantic, you know, earth ley line of energy that goes right through this property. That's why I bought this, and that's why I had this where I put the well. It's like amazing. The guy came up here, charged me $75 a foot. He was expecting have to go down 1,000 feet to 2,000 feet, and he went down 70 feet and he hit artesian well, and it's the best of best water, right? And sometimes when it rains a lot during the summer, you don't even need the electricity. The water just kind of comes up to the wellhead and then comes up the 10 feet to the faucet here in the kitchen. Would even come up to upstairs kitchen and bathroom. Might take a little long, like go a little, not as hard. But anyway, when you're in balance, everything is love's co-creation. When you're not, you're in a sociopathic um, worldview, and that's where we are now. And as I think it was Toole who said that John is the people's saint of truth because he is showing us right in front of the camera that duality. Really sweet, really nice, like the innocence of a child, and the other one just selfish, egocentric, narcissistic. He doesn't even know it. He's possessed. So, it's a beautiful day, John.
Yeah.
Look at the sun coming in here. You want to pray, John?
I'm going to use the bathroom.
Okay. I can't even use the bathroom down here. Well, Father Sky, Mother Earth, Holy Spirit, hear our prayer. And every day and every way, we take the piece of the earth and make it stronger. We take love into our heart, the love of creation. We give thanksgiving in our graceful and humble and hospitable service to all our brethren. We share our love, our light, and in every day and every way we take the piece of the earth and make it stronger. Hear our prayer. So you're breathing in the prana, the love of the Creator, Father Sky. And you feel the connection of your chi through your feet with Mother Earth. And that's that connective tissue. That's the circuit, right? Feel it strongly. And in every day and every way, we take the piece of the earth and make it stronger. Through that, we are doing what we came here to do. We came. Why were we brought here? This is a sandbox. We're learning how to play nice with each other. But when we get angry, when we get vengeful, these are not things that we even are supposed to do. You know, when we have wars and violence, and when violence comes in many forms. Um, you know, when corporations sell, industrial, manufactured, crass, consumables that, cause disharmony and disease, that's a sin. When banks have, a monetary system based on Babylon banking where, yeah, you want $20? I'll lend you $20. But in 3 weeks, you better pay me 100 or I'm going to break your legs. Having mortgages and that. We live on a planet of abundance. That abundance should be shared. 10 men shouldn't control and own 90% of the wealth of this planet, And the technology that they're building, a hydrogen bomb, really? We spend $700 billion, almost $1 trillion, and this is what's advertised. It's not even what they, do. There are black projects, special access programs that no one knows about. Like the Rainbow Project, which was basically a time. I mean, it's very interesting. In the 60s and 70s, ABC and NBC had a lot of interesting things at the time tunnel, Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea, Land of Giants, what else? The Hero, and The Invaders, and V, and these were all shows saying, hey, this is what we're doing. So when this happens, don't be that scared, but be, scared enough to do exactly what we say, So first there was state violence, we had the Cold War, and then we had non-state violence and narco-terrorism, and we had terrorism, and then we had, environmental catastrophes. And I would say this year what we're going to have is the collapse of the internet and the collapse of faith, because we will be invaded by an alien presence, right? And now there's definitely an alien presence here, but they don't have rocket ships, they don't have vehicles. Their technology is superior. They just beam themselves in here, just like Star Trek. And we have that technology too. We beam people from here to the moon, and from here and from the moon to Mars. And we have been doing that since at least the 1980s, if not sooner, earlier. So, don't believe a word I say. I'm just your griot, your storyteller. And welcome. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and wherever you are, welcome to Dreamy Dreamland. This is our channel. You're watching Dreamy Dreamland here on that channel, whatever you think it is. I'm expanding my bandwidth through shamanic energy out into the internet. And you can come physically on YouTube and go to Dreamy Dreamland with Sensei Al Bob and come and visit. And if you want to talk to me personally, you can get a hold of me on my email, which is thedudewake42@gmail. 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 And if you want to put anything in PayPal, that'd be great. I'd like that. Thedudewake42@gmail, right? So, Here I'm at this beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Look at this place. I mean, look at this. Whoa. And here's the A-frame, and there's a path. There it is. There's a path that goes all the way up there, all across that, and then down, and comes out over there. It's about a quarter mile. And look at this beautiful house, built by George and Inga Solanovich. Look at this. It's just gorgeous. View over here. But we're going to be up here for a while because the snow is like turned, this is just, you know, hard, like concrete. Whoa!
Be careful. Be careful.
Trying. How does that dueling banjo tune go?
On banjo?
Yeah.
I don't know if I want to
You know,
load it, but I do something. I played a different, my own version of it.
but how does it go? Just hum it.
Doing banjos?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't want to do that.
Just hum it.
No.
Okay. Anyway. So you want to meditate with us? Pray?
I don't know.
Talk to God? Well, look at that. I mean, John painted this whole floor. Look at this. I mean, he's an amazing artist. He's an amazing. You heard the drums in the beginning. You know, it just saddens me that John cannot have a life. You know, and he blames everyone, but he doesn't realize his incarceration. And he's like always going about incarceration. Oh my God! You know, any number you use. He said, "Why'd you say that? You're putting me in jail." It's like, you know. And that, I mean, that's it. John's friend. I'm here to do my best. You know, I don't. I could have gone to Florida. You know.
What are you talking about? Do you think everyone lives in a prison or something?
No, I didn't say that.
You said you think everyone.
I didn't say that. Well, I said that we incarcerate ourselves by our actions, and we don't, and we don't go to jail.
Why would I ever go to jail? I don't break the law.
No, but you have
And the
incarcerated.
law is good.
John, you have incarcerated yourself in this house.
mostly
You
good.
haven't
It's
left here.
It's not like the Bible.
You
It's
haven't
pretty
left,
close.
John. You haven't left here in 2.5 years. If that is an incarceration, I don't know what
It's
is.
not. It's not literal incarceration.
Why you haven't gone? You haven't seen anybody. You don't do anything.
I do a lot. In 2019, I worked on this house the equivalent of many years or 2 years or more, 2 years of full-time labor.
With full-time labor. You mean like on the chain gang?
No, work.
Well, they work. The guys on the chain gang, they're working. Boom, working on the chain gang.
Is that
Boom.
what you think what work is?
No, work for me.
You think work is imprisonment?
No. Well, the word work is, but when I'm out there being an electrician, being whatever I do it because I enjoy doing it.
You don't do it that much. Is it because you're 8?
Yes,
Or did you only did what you felt like doing?
pretty much. But when I was younger, I was very well employed by
That's
things
right.
that I enjoyed
In the
doing.
Bible, it says that God wants a man to work, and that's the punishment for eating from the tree of knowledge of good and evil. And because of that, man had to then work to pay for his food. And they said man would sweat and go through difficulty to work. It wouldn't be easy.
Right, work isn't
So
easy.
you think that you can just do whatever you feel like and not have to work or something. But
No.
I know you're older. I know you're older, and
See
you know,
how
you're at your
John
retirement age.
John tells me how I feel. John tells me what's going on in my life. John tells me,
No.
you know, like a judgment of what's going on in my life. You know, I don't tell anyone anything. I give forth an insight or an impression, but I don't say, constantly. I say, you don't believe a word I say, you know. John wants to, so that's a dialogue. And when, I try to be logical, he walks away. So, and he'll come down, 5, 10 minutes from now, really angry and yell at me. And, and that's, like I said, John is the public saint of truth. And why is he a saint? Because saints, Francis of Assisi, Joan of Arc, all these people were called to be in service to their brothers and sisters, to enlighten them, to free them from their bonds, and you have to realize that the Bible is at best a owner's manual of a lifestyle. Not even, it's not an owner's manual of our soul. It's of the environment that we're in, and that, was given to us, not even by the burning bush, but by this character named Gob, or Baal. And so, whatever gifts we are given, we need to express them, and not as work. Like I said, I was really well employed, up until 2014. I started employment at age 9, and pretty much was employed every day. But everything I did, I enjoyed, and I brought service to people. I fixed their electrical, I fixed their emotional, I expanded their site by my art, and why not build a guest house? Well, there is already one. It's called the A-frame. It's in this video. I kind of panned right by it. So that's where I first lived before I came here. And it's really cold. There's no heat in there, so that's why I'm here, because it's warm. But if I really wanted to be warm, I'd be in Florida. And there are plenty of people in Florida that I could go hang out with and couch surf. And I told you stories of, in the last few days, if they've gone up by now, of my exploits in Florida. So, I could go there. But I came here specifically to get John out of his incarceration, and he's always going on about jail, how his parents want to put him in jail, and you use any number, and he uses them all the time. But if I say something like you heard him, oh, in jail, because he's scared that he's going to go to jail, I don't do anything wrong, and the laws are good. Basically they're not good. Pretty much all laws are set up for we have the best legislators money can buy. And they're the people making the laws. And like I said earlier in this video, tomorrow, New York State Legislature is planning to, you know, pass a law that will there's you can be arrested for breaking a law, right? But this rendition is when they just come in, put a bag on your head, take you away, and you're never seen again, right? And that's what New York State is going to pass a law. If the state deems you a threat to public health, they're going to rendition you, just take you away. No lawyer, no judge, no jury, no phone call, just gone. And that's coming tomorrow. And also, they have 5 other laws. One is everyone in the state has to be inoculated. And if you say, and there's no, I don't want to do it, my religion says I can't do it, no, then you are renditioned, right? And even if you're not sick, even if you do get the inoculation, they can still say that you're a threat to public health and rendition you, right? So everyone, including children, as low as the age of 3 months, has to get this, inoculation. And everyone has to have on their phone. So if you're walking through the street and the phone is saying where all the millions of people are at any second, if you walk by someone who week later is got the new variant, they can come and get you, and they will test you. And even if you are showing that you have no load, then they can still rendition you and keep you there, not for any set time. There is no set time. They can put you in a rendition hut with other people who are ill, and you have nothing to say about it. And this is New York State. Now, I haven't read the legislature. I just have heard about our friend Awakening with JP, right? And Jimmy Dore is pretty good on going after the thing. And the people who are making the decisions of this all have great masses of stock in the companies that are making these, whatever, the jab, When I started, that was one of the exercises that the speech pathologist had me do. Anyway, so I've had enough sorrow, pain, and seen an unbelievable amount of it. My parents never, ever, 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 paid my bills. They paid my sister's bills, right? And those girls all had tons of kids, and so they put all their kids. I mean, my parents, sent me to prep school. They wanted me there, so I wouldn't be in their house, And they wanted me to be a priest. Then didn't work out really, and so. And they did send me off to college. Again, they didn't want me there. And the king and queen in Sweden are positive. They are. There are monarchs that are good. The folks, the guy who was, the king and queen of Japan, pretty good. King and queen of Spain, pretty good. King of England, Queen of England, not so much. That family is sketchy. She's a reptile. I mean, just read anybody read David Icke? They are positive for Omicron. Oh, they're see. Well, both the carrot heads, the one in America and the one in England, both had it. And Oh, let's see. Uh, makes me a piece of England. Yeah. Exactly. I mean, I had that kind of stutter, you know, when I was a little boy, from about 7 till 10. But, I got over it. I had a really good speech therapist. I had, I was living in this, I don't even, it wasn't, a seminary because it was a community. I guess that's what you call it. It was in Garden City, Long Island. It was the Maryknoll order, and it was priests and nuns living together, right? And they were all scholars, and they were studying things, and that's they weren't thinking about sex, but they ate together. They had common activities. They prayed together, and they prayed in a circle, and it was so there was a speech that pathologist there, a psychologist, and these people were top of the notch of what they did. Every one of them. They weren't just mediocre, and they had a saintly. Oh, meaning if I, where I learned my patience was from those guys, right? They had the patience. Just amazing. Because I went with them everywhere. They worked in hospitals, they worked in schools, they worked in prisons, and they all everywhere they worked where people were suffering, and so I really learned the story of empathy and patience. And by coming and helping John, I am exercising that. I don't have to need to run up a hill or lift barbells to exercise. I just stay with John and constantly stay on the beam of trying to the path to assist John to find balance so he can go out in the world. And if he really wants to. Oh, the only thing important is my children and my wife. I want to be, a family. Well, if he really wanted to do that, he would go to Texas. He would get a job. He would get a place to stay, and he would involve himself. He'd be there. He wouldn't just go there for 3 days, 7 times in the last 4.7 years, His kids have gone from like 8 and 10 to, 15 and, 13. And the boys are both teenagers, And if he's really concerned about the little girl, but she's in, see what I've never seen her in person. I've seen her on what's her name's channel, and she, she was making lots of money, and she was using those kids, her kids, as it was called Elf on a Shelf, and she was like treating those kids as the elves on the shelf, and she was mocking and disrespecting the little baby Ayla. And go watch. I don't know if she still has them up or she took them down, but she basically had the infant like I was. Had to kept them in a incarceration. My parents, once I stuck that knife in the electric socket, and I was talking to electricity, and my mother freaked out and ran across the room and grabbed me, and she got thrown. She got the shock. Got thrown. So any of you guys ever touched a and it's like 0 amperage and high voltage, so you get a shock, but you don't get hurt. We used to when I lived in Maine and upstate New York at my aunt's and the Ryersons. They had farms, and I used to the kids all did this, and basically the brave one would grab it and maybe get initial shock, but once you had a hand on it, especially if you had insulated shoes, you just get this little tingle, and then somebody would touch them and they get the tingle, and you would do it, and then when some inadvertent person would walk by, you would touch them and they would get the shock, right? And that's what happened to my mom. And so what did they do? They had little plastic things, they got them today, that you could just stick there so you can't stick stuff in there. What did they do? They took this big, heavy. When I came home from the hospital, my parents stuck me in a dresser drawer that was moldy and painted with lead, and was all dusty lead paint in there. And my uncle Steve came to see me, and he was like, "What are you doing?" And so he, said, "No, you trying to kill the kid?" And so he actually went off. He was the head, person that took care of Idlewild Airport. The fixing of the heating and the doors and the this. He was more than he was like the caretaker of Idlewild Airport. So he took care of everything. He was an electrical engineer, but that's what he was doing. And he basically had his shop make me a cedar crib, and I still love the smell of cedar. And so, what my parents did was they put the cushion on the floor and turned the crib upside down, so I was like couldn't get out. But within a few months, I was strong enough and had this, just innate understanding of geometry that I put my little body right at a place and I pulled the cushion away so the thing was like a little tippy and just leaned on the tippiest part and boom, the weight of the thing would just make it fall over. I really didn't have to push that hard, right? And it would go boom and it'd fall on the couch and then I could crawl out, right? And so it's like, that's been one of my things. And I don't know if you can hear John. He's upstairs singing away. I'm sure you could go to his channel. He's probably got it on there. And it's all an expose of his ego, right? And see, his ego is not even his ego. It's this, other, and that's pretty much, it's narcissism. And that is Satan. Satan is narcissism, And, it's not like, oh, the devil made me do it. No, it's, you allowed yourself to be taken over by this, force. And, and that's, the paranormal. What is a paranormal? It's the parallel normal. And John is the perfect, as Toole said, he is the people's saint of truth. You just look at him and you see the line, right? The sweet side over here and this, narcissistic side over here. And when he gets angry, that takes over the whole thing. When he's not angry, he's so, oh, Jesus, protect us, Jesus, and no story, the queen and king tested positive. Omicron. But what's Omicron? Omicron is a blessing because it's unbelievable contagious. So what is that going to do? It's going to increase, the herd inoculation. And that's what happens with viruses. That's what, and it is extraordinarily, it's not going to overrun the hospitals, The earlier case was a little more violent. Our immune system wasn't used to it, and in reality, our immune system, this is what our immune system does. It was designed to go after biological entities, and a virus isn't that. It's more like a toxic invader, and so it doesn't know how. So it throws the kitchen sink at it. Well, when your immune system does that, you can go into shock. You can, your lungs will fill up with fluid because your body is doing everything it can to go after this thing, and it's not really helping, and so it doubles down and then does things to your body that boom, you fall over. And there were loads of pictures of people walking around in China who just killed over, right? Well, the variant is, our bodies have gotten used to it. People who've gotten the jab have a certain, they've been inoculated. They have a certain level of protection. And this variant, even if you get it, which everyone will, this winter, and that'll be a good thing because then our immune response will be tagged, and our immune system will be able to properly protect us, right? And I'm not a doctor, I'm just saying what I've seen on the YouTube from, was watching, NBC and Fox and public TV, and they had this woman who was a doctor, immunologist at Stanford, top of the heap there, and she said, "No, this is what's happening. You know, Omicron's very contagious, but it really doesn't make you, you get a little maybe a cold, and yes, everyone's going to get it, but and she said, but that's a good thing. That will bring us herd immunity, right? And if you listen to the people who are like, specifically politicians, um, you know, that's kind of what happens. Cold. Yeah. So this Omicron thing is a blessing, right? So everyone, like I said, the hospitals aren't really being overrun. The death rate, because you have to look at those numbers. In 2020 when it was hitting, the death rate and infection was here, death rates here, and the death rate was more or less the incompetence of like New York State. They took old people who were living in their homes, who got it, and put them in old folks' homes. So the biggest people who died in New York State were the people in old folks' homes, and especially state-run ones, because private ones they could say, I don't know. State-run ones they just did it, and that's what killed the majority of people. And the fact, and taking the kids out of school, that was amazing. I mean, that was because it caused all these parents to, not go to work, and then they had the lockdown, and that's the thing that killed the mom and pop stores. But Mr. Amazon, he made he himself, not just Amazon, he made $40 billion. That's what kicked him up the scale of I'm almost a trillionaire. And the federal government, how did Amazon go from a little hokey thing of selling books online to this behemoth? It's because the federal government, first of all, it went into cloud computing. So, we're doing this because, we have lots of computing and we're going to do this. Well, then that became their number one moneymaker. And then the CIA, FBI, you name it, the government said, we're going to hire, Amazon as our cloud, And so all these super duper secret stuff is on Amazon's cloud. That's a good idea. So it's like in plain sight, right in front of you. And as dark journalism, which you should go and see, speaks of. So I guess every time this thing craps out and then reconnects, the counter starts over again. Because I've been doing this for more than 20 minutes, and that was going on last night. And I think all of them get stuck together when it finally renders onto my channel. But it takes so long. Let's see. What do you guys say? Let's look at what you've been saying here. King speech. Yep. King. I'll try to clean. Yep. Here's polarity game. That's right. Hi, folks, and welcome to the polarity game. Let's see, the whole idea is not to play the game. Thank you, Mr. Esoteric, Mr. Dragon. Good to see you, buddy. It's just the flu, right? You're not going to catch anything but the flu. Because the flu is a coronavirus, if you didn't know that already. Conveniently called COVID. Yep. It's up to you. Yep. Stand up and tell the truth. And that's what I'm trying to do here. And I'm trying to tell the truth to John so he can free himself. And the truth will set you free. If he really wants this kid, let's go to Texas. And I was saying that the first week. Let's go to, before it snowed and we can't get out, we're kind of stuck here because we got about 5 inches and then it went down to 19 and it's like 18 up there now.
And you know, when the snow, when it's sunny day and the trees, ooh, they're so pretty because they're covered in ice, right? And it's not melting, you know. I cleaned off my car. I can open the door. You know, made a path all the way around it and from the door out. But rest of it's like ice skating out there. And it's supposed to snow tomorrow another 5 inches and still be, um, you know, 19 degrees. And so we'll probably, we could, and that's one that, there's no way I'm getting out of here. And you're out. There's no way that's going to happen. No, and it went to 10 minutes. We were at 20 minutes, and I don't know if all this stuff is getting, um, meaning that's what I'm saying. The internet is going to go bye-bye, this year. If not, I think it might wait till the spring or summer, when a lot of people are out. Right now, if the internet went down, people couldn't riot, if they're like snowed in like I am, right? So they want real chaos, right? So, and I had 9 thumbs up, and now I have 7. I mean, it's like there's somebody, there's some monkey in the office just pushing buttons, so. So it's, our friend there, esoteric, is true. It's up to you. You wait until people can't have access to the internet. They will go ballistic. Yes. Not me. I don't care. I've been living in the woods. Out there I have no this, And I've been doing enough shows that I've been telling people from the beginning, stick this on hard drives, put it on your thumb drives. You take all of these shows and put them in your own possession, because they're shamanic ceremonies and they're energetic, and you know this. That's why you watch it. That it not only calms you, it opens certain chakras where you see and understand things like you never had before. Yeah, that's why I thought 2019, December, thanks God for the WWW. Exactly. But, and what it did was, the YouTube and the internet has, gone amazingly. People like me have come out of the woods, and they're up there and saying things that people need to hear. And so there's more truth on the internet now than there really has ever been, right? But so taking down this the internet we have now will be replaced by Elon Musk's satellites. Right? He's putting 50,000. And I think that's why it'll take this thing won't happen early in 2022. It'll be later, because he still has to put his whole system up. And what it's going to be, you will get not a cell phone like this. You will get this little thing that will kind of be grafted right here, right? And I think I got one already. I think they put it there already. It's like right there, right? It'll be right there. And that's where they would put it, because that's where an optic nerve is, where it goes straight into your brain. And all they have to do is, they don't have to put a wire into your brain. It's just have a, harmonic frequency of ELF go straight in your brain. So you will see the screen. You will watch the movie in your head. It'll be like virtual reality. It'll just be a little thing like that. And if you have that, you will be able to buy and sell. This is the beast, mark of the beast. And I've had this here. I've had this here for many years, and I've had doctors look at it and say, what is that? Oh, that's just a mole. That's biopsy. And this one guy was really good. He didn't have to cut or anything. He just had some instrument that he could just place on it. And he said, you know what? I said, what? He said, that's not, really part of you. So what? He goes, yeah, you know. And he developed this because he was a guy who on the down low was, and that's why I went to him. He was a big time plastic surgeon. He was a big time eye surgeon. And he basically would start seeing things, that seemed to be non-biologic. So he invented instrumentality that could measure that, and he saw that people had what were called implants. Right? Hey, buddy,
Alright,
how you doing?
this home is not a duplex.
No, it's a castle. This is a castle, guys.
You called it a castle. That was what you called it.
No, that's what Inga called it.
Inga called it that?
Yeah, she said, we built a castle for ourselves.
I thought every person who lived here can make it kind of whatever they want to.
Oh, of course they, no, but the real deal about this place, John.
I got an idea to put 40 tiny homes that you don't need a permit to build because they're the right square footage, like
Yeah.
140 square feet. Or
A tiny
200
home, a tiny home.
square
Yep,
feet,
yep,
something
tiny
like that.
home, yep.
40 of them
It's
all.
the big
Got
range, the
woods.
tiny home,
Rent
yep.
each one for
Yep.
$200 a month.
Yeah, go for it.
Use the guest house as the community bathroom.
Yeah, exactly. That sounds great idea. Yep.
You could have 40, like all these kind of hippie people.
Or not, they wouldn't even have to be hippie people. I've done that.
Wood burning stove in a building with a bed.
Well, I lived in
Maybe that desk.
you know what to do, John? And this is just a suggestion from my experience. When I lived with my sensei in Vermont,
Whoever lives here can make it whatever they want to, right?
would you let them do that? Pretty much,
I'm
this
the
is,
one who lives here.
right, exactly.
What do you mean? If I have to rent it, I can rent it. I know how to survive. A country boy can't survive. No, it's not a country boy. If I had to, I could rent it, but I did it out of a fear. So I probably don't need to. I probably don't need to rent it. It's for Danica and the kids, or the kids, and maybe the wife one day. I don't know who. So I don't know. Maybe she'd like it when she got here. I don't know. I don't know who I'm supposed to be with. Who knows?
Well, you're not going to meet anybody just
My
by
kids.
staying up here.
And you've been here.
Yep,
You-
pretty much. I'm your friend. I'm the guy who comes and stands by
I
you.
really did a bunch of work while I was here.
Yep, you did. You did a great job. And it's an art piece. I mean, just look at this floor. This is truly amazing.
I can paint that cabinet right there, cover up that red stupid ladle.
I like the label. I like that. That red thing is a nice little.
Paint it white.
It's like the guys who make Persian rugs. They're perfect, and because they're not God, they always put in one little thing that people don't even see, or they do, and it's like, wow, that's great, and that's you.
I'm Persian. No,
Did I say that, John?
I don't know.
No, I didn't say that.
I don't even know where Persia is.
Persia is.
I don't know. Is Persia a real place?
Yeah, it's a real place.
Okay.
It's kind of what Iraq, Afghanistan.
I'm not Iraqi. I'm Italian,
Uh-huh.
but
I thought you were
understand
Norwegian
saying-
with that blonde
No.
hair. I thought you were Norwegian.
No,
Jan.
I'm not Norwegian.
Jan from
My
Norway.
father's pretty white.
Yeah, Jan from Norway. He could have been coming from Norway. Who knows? He's a what do they call him? An adoptee.
I did my DNA. I looked at my DNA.
Really?
Yeah.
What did it look like?
Way back, there's some genetics from the South, like hundreds of years ago. Like they had come over here from Ireland hundreds of years ago.
Plantation
And then
owners,
they went back
whips
to
and
Ireland.
chains.
No, Southern white from my dad's side, but he's not really.
But he came from
For
Ireland.
God and Jesus and stuff, he's really from New York and Ireland.
He's
a
from
little
Ireland. He was born in Ireland.
They're
But I
from
really
New York.
think from Norway.
They're more
Hey,
like
kitty.
like our relatives in heaven. They were all in New York.
Our relatives in heaven.
But now,
Do they now in
now
heaven?
our relatives are
Now in heaven, do
Texas,
they have? Are they living in apartments
Virginia,
or
New York?
condos in
Yeah.
heaven? Your
What?
the relatives in heaven, or do they live in apartments or condos? Are relatives in heaven? Are they living
I
in
don't know.
apartments
They're
or
not in heaven yet. They're asleep.
they don't go straight
As
to
far as
heaven?
I know.
So
As far
Jesus,
as I know, unless
so
the
Jesus
Bible-
didn't go. He's waiting to go to heaven. Jesus is waiting to go to heaven.
No, Jesus is in heaven.
But he was a human being.
He's God's son. He's already in heaven.
So is he living in a condo or an apartment?
What does a condo or apartment have to do with anything?
Well, you're saying, you know,
When you die, you go to an apartment or a condo.
yeah, and you know, but if so, are we when we die? Are we in our bodies? Do we have our bodies when we die?
These physical bodies won't exist anymore, and we'll have our new, younger bodies or healthier bodies.
Will they be
on
physical?
judgment
Will
day.
they be physical
They're all
bodies?
risen from the dead.
Will they
but
be
some
physical?
will go to the
You know,
lake
will
of
they?
fire.
Will we be eating
Some
dinner?
will be burned up
Will
in
we
the lake
eat?
of fire and no
Will
longer exist.
we be eating dinner in heaven?
Eating dinner in heaven?
Yes. Can we watch movies in heaven? Do we have sex in heaven?
I don't know. I don't know. Sex may be a little too sinful. We might not even want it because it's so beautiful and good. And who would want it anymore because it's like so amazing that we can't really fathom what it's like to have no sin. There'd be nothing bad, no bad feeling either. No suffering, no pain, nothing bad that comes from the sin. The sin of others in us, our own sin, causes us to suffer. And that's on earth. That's why we all die. Because they ate from the tree of knowledge of good and evil, and they're introduced to sin, and it made us all die.